gentlemen, welcome one and all to the next round of SLR Tier 2. We are here in the USA for the Miami Grand Prix. Bit of a controversial track. A lot of very fake racing, almost as fake as the marina that's supposedly meant to be in here. And we hope to bring you some real excitement along this 5.4 kilometer or 3.3 mile circuit with 19 turns, including the infamous Sector 2, which is about as tight as you can possibly get on the Formula 1 calendar. Hopefully, lots of clean racing along this tight and twisty circuit. And with me, Lars, to talk you through it all the way, is the lovely CM Punk. How we doing, my friend?
It's my boy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Soaking Wet Miami. The marina may be fake, but the water is real as it is heavily implemented on the track right now. We're having guys coming out on intermediate tires, and I know this track is already having some issues with the grip. I mean, the drivers are having some issues with the grip to find on this track, but with this rain coming down, it's going to be only more difficult, and that surely is going to make it more exciting to watch the qualifying session and perhaps the race, depending on the conditions in the Grand Prix.
Indeed, we haven't got the live feed yet. We're going to go to that in a second. Quick little favor from chat, if they can keep us updated on how the mics are sounding. Not much we can maybe do about the echo, but we've tried to fix the volumes. Please keep us posted on that. Just before we go to live feed, looking at the drivers' standings after Canada, Curia leading the Drivers' Championship on 55 points. Crystals 20 points behind them, and then it gets really tight. Verch on 30, Basco and Larson on 24 apiece, Smelto on 18, Lepson 15, Futuristic 12, Ocean Chief 10, and Magnetic on 8 points. Alpine romping away with the constructors, a 98-point lead over McLaren, but behind that, again, really tight. 42 points for McLaren, 36 for V-Carb, 30 for Red Bull, and 21 for Williams. The rest all a bit further back, especially the Ferraris, who are the only team yet to open their account, still sitting on 0 points, the boys from Maranello. But we shall cut to the live race and see if we can't actually, if the Ferraris can't actually get up on the scoreboard today.
Yes, sir. Of course, that is the case, and we're also looking forward to see what's going to happen with all the other teams. We're having some interesting situation on the track right now, as track is heavily filled with the traffic, as almost seemingly everybody hits the track to try to make themselves first round of laps. As we can see now on the minimap in a moment, we're going to have plenty of cars on the track right now, so this is going to be a bit crowdy as the drivers are trying to somehow get the grip on this track that is already lacking the grip, and the rain is not making it easier for them. Basco is going to be the first man to set the time here in Miami in those difficult qualifying session, and we'll see how is he going to perform right now as he's sliding, drifting a bit across the track, still keeping it in between the lines, still looking for some good time, but it shows how difficult making some laps are going to be tonight.
And as you say that, we had Keyboard Magnussen out on the softs for some godforsaken reason. He's pulled into the box now, didn't even finish his outlap, but maybe he was thinking the rain was shallow enough. And to be fair, when you look at it from the sky, the onboard, you can see that the rain isn't falling as heavy as it can do, but it's heavy enough, obviously, for intermediate conditions.
Yeah, he was definitely trying to
now,
test
unlike real life, you can actually make use of the wet compound tires in this game, but only if it's full-on torrential rain. So we're very much in the injuries territory here. But hey, nice of Keyboard Magnussen to try it out and be a bit of a guinea pig for everyone else. He's aborted the lap and come back to the pits. You were saying Smelto was first lap, or Basco? Sorry.
Basco. Yep.
Interestingly, the McLaren seem to be doing a little bit of a switcheroo there. I wonder if there's maybe some plans there to do slipstreaming between the two of them.
Maybe. Basco was on a quick lap, so Smelto kind of had to get out of the way for him, and now we'll see what's going to be the effect of it as he hits 137.731. That is the bar that was set by one of the McLaren boys, and now the other one will try to basically vault this bar, as maybe not in case of the Olympics, but surely in case of a good time on this wet Miami track, as some drivers are heading up for the final moments of their quick laps. I can see Whistle Will and Hasper getting ready. There we go. Matt and Cruiser are lining up the board, and everybody improves over the person before. So now, right now, Run Cruiser is the leading man in the qualifying session with 146.919.
Ocean Chief and Whistle Will, you'd have to say, not with very representative looking lap times there. 4th and 5th in the minute, but in the 140s. Now, We don't know. Have we been able to figure out what the weather is for the actual race? Because, of course, this. As we see, Run Cruiser, who appears to be going for a second hot lap, power sliding his way through the corner there. Of course, what we can understand is we don't know what the weather is for the race at the minute, so it's always a bit of a strategic gamble that you take. I found this out actually last week in Australia, where we had a wet qualifying and a dry qualifying and a wet race, kind of the mirror of what potentially could happen here. But of course, whatever you set the car up for in qualifying goes through Parc Fermé, and you have to stick with that for the race. So, do you set up your qualifying, especially around a twisty circuit like Miami, and try to just grin and bear and hold your position? Or do you compromise your qualifying and maybe have a horrid time trying to actually overtake around this track?
Yeah. As of right now, the conditions are surely not getting better, as almost every single time that gets put on the board later on is either worse than the leader or just a bit worse, but still no one's able to top Run Cruiser. As I'm saying this, Nico is the man who sets the fastest time of the session so far with 1:36.7. We're still waiting for a couple of drivers to put the time on the board, but as of right now, making decent lap in here is possible, but it is difficult. Art to master to perfection, as we're waiting for Joel, Adesi, Smelto, Larson, Tilde, and Keyboard Magnussen's time to show up on the board with 12 minutes in this qualifying session left to go.
I could have sworn Nightcat was promoted to Tier 1, but he keeps on sticking up here for some reason, don't know why. Obviously replacing... Actually, to be fair, both of our championship contenders have been... no, wait, is it both of them? Sorry, I was looking at the Williams there for a second. No, Gerla is still here.
Gorla is still with us.
So Crystals is actually the one missing out. So an opportunity for Gerla to extend their championship lead.
Speaking about him, as he jumps up into P2 right behind Nico with a time of 1:36.821. So Nico is still on provisional pole, but Gerla sets a very good time right now, sitting at provisional front row. So we're still waiting some times from some dons from behind, and I'm gonna have to see what they can put on the board. Fight for something more than just the bottom. So right now the times are very familiar to each other, as we see at basically the top guys. We've got Matt, Basco, R-Gamer, Crowley Voice, everybody in the reach of less than 1 second. And then you've got Crystal's Futuristic, Tilde, Wesley, and a couple of other drivers still in the gap of 1 second. So the times are very close to each other, but then again, Nico is sticking out so far, and I believe that Keyboard Magnussen made his time on the board with P5 by going 1:37.487. Nice time from Keyboard King himself.
Apologies for not moving the cameras too much. I'm just trying to sort something here. As Run Cruiser improves upon his time with a 36.2, so the track is getting quicker. Maybe not necessarily drier, but certainly quicker. Of course, they're getting more confident with the practice, but just looking at the championship standings here, this could throw a spanner in the works for, well, let's see. Gerla is the one with the most to gain here, leading the championship. Both of the very nearest rivals not here today, Crystals and Verch.
Crystals? I will swear he was just about here. Let me check again.
Oh, sorry, Crystals is here. Sorry, my apologies. I'm getting mixed up. So, Crystals looking to close in on Gerla. Verch is... Wait, is that Verchi? Sorry, I'm getting all confused here.
I don't know either, no more.
This is where... mods, please, can we have a uniform between Discord and F1? Like, it's good.
We should have, like, Olympic-style website where the guys, like, record audio of their nicknames, like, you know, how it should be pronounced.
That wouldn't
like
be a bad idea, but...
That would be useful.
But, you know, if it's a wet race as well, there's the opportunity for a lot of changes in the championship here. But Gerla... You have to wonder what Gerla's mindset is here. It's still early days as R-Gamer retires from the session. Where did that happen?
Was that in the pit lane? I don't think it was. I'm looking at the POV of McLaren. No, it's not. Red Bull is standing in the middle of the Long's main straight, so something must have happened to R-Gamer. Someone was standing there, and now he's gone, so...
Because Red Bull is normally the dark... Oh no, I apologize. That dark blue on the map is
that's V carb.
No, sorry, I thought the dark blue dot that I was looking at was the V carbs. My apologies.
Yeah. Something happened to Gamer on the main straight. It must have been too deep on the throttle coming out of the final corner and probably hit the wall on the left side of the main straight as he gets DNF'd from the session, sitting at P10.
Sorry, for some reason my controller vibrated and I'm not too sure why.
Maybe someone hit the wall.
Maybe someone did. That's what I was thinking. So I was looking, wait, what's going on?
Well, we have some yellow
but there's another tip, by the way, for Codemasters on the off chance they're watching. Maybe instead of the colored dots on the minimap, we could get like mini versions of the team icons, because we've got 4 teams that are blue.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool.
Because I genuinely cannot tell the difference. Alpine and Williams look the same, V-Carb and Red Bull look the same.
Ooh, Gurla jumps ahead of Run Cruiser in style as he slides across the finish line to set a new fastest time with 1:35.8. So it's either A, conditions are getting slightly better, or B, Gurla just set a great time. The first man to go underneath 1:36 so far, with 8 minutes to go in the qualifying session. Now we only wait for 2 drivers to put the times on the board for the names. It's Joel and Larson.
Smelto's coming around. He was up as well, so the track is definitely getting quicker. Expect to see these lap times come down just like that as Matt comes across the line with a 1:35.7. Here comes Smelto. What can he do? Currently P11, goes P3 into the 1:35. So the track is definitely improving, even if the rain is not getting any lighter. Of course, as they drive round, and Smelto does a very Mario Kart style corner cut there. Even if the track is still facing the same amount of rain, just the mere act of these cars driving along will produce a dry line. It'll heat up the rubber, it'll heat up the track, and just make it for a much grippier surface. So even if the rain stays the same, expect the times to come tumbling down.
Yeah, absolutely. As Matt has heavily improved his time, Smelto has improved his time, so now we wait for some more times to be improved in this qualifying session, as Crowley is improving heavily by half a second from P5 right now. That would put him to a fight for around P3, P2, depending on how the final sector is going to go down. So we might watch the Ferrari driver from
Crystal's
P6.
only up to P5, sorry there, and Crowley voice now coming around. Was half a second up. Oh, crushing the wall.
Yeah, a bit of a slide there. Is he going to deliver a good time, though? Still on the run for a chance. There he goes for provisional pole. Ooh, nice one. But
where has that Ferrari been all season?
Way better. Yeah, surely was gone for now, but he does show up when it's needed. And now the question is who's going to improve on this time, as Nico, he goes 1 second faster after his second sector. It was, of course, purple. So yeah, I'm going to have to take my bet on the Williams that is going to be next provisional pole position once he crosses the finish line.
I mean, considering he is a tier 1 driver, we'll give credit to the others where it's due. I mean, no shame in anything, but he's obviously been allowed to race, but...
come on, there are some underdogs who might fight him, but then again, he is the one setting the bar, so surely...
I'm pretty sure Crowley got promoted. I could have sworn Crowley got promoted.
Yeah, no idea. We'll see that in a minute.
We'll have to sort this all out, so, but anyway. As you say, purple sector 2, whether it was a glitch or not, although you said it was a second quicker.
I'm pretty sure it was not a glitch from Nico as he rounds up the final sector. The current provisionally pole time is 1:45.726. As he leaves the final corners right now, 5 seconds to beat down the main straight. Surely gonna do it. Across the finish line it goes, 1:34.790. So the conditions are heavily improving right now.
Yeah, but even still, not enough for the way you expect these drivers to be going. If you watch I mean, we're going board with Matt now, who appears to be on the lap. You watch the throttle inputs, and they're very rarely, if ever, going up to full throttle. 3/4 is what you see. Yes, you get a little bit along the straight here, but in most corners they're not even touching full throttle. So it is still very treacherous out there.
Yeah, purple from Matt in Sector 2. Then again, this could be a glitch, but I have a feeling that this Aston Martin can show us more than he has done so far, despite the fact he has shown us plenty so far. So this could be a big one for Matt, as he's going for the final corners right now. The time to beat is 1:34.790. Run Cruiser 1:45.021, and Matt across the finish line 1:35.010. So they're really getting close.
Again that Nike was supposed to be tier 1, being only 2/10 off of pole, that's not a bad.
Yeah, that is a great one. That is a great one from Matt and Cruiser, and that proves that times can heavily improve. Keyboard Magnussen so far at P5, but he's on the hot lap right now. We got some yellow flags caused by Aston Martin.
I'm sorry, I'm just watching Keyboard Magnussen here. He's drifting everywhere, understandably, because, well, not only is he doing it in these difficult conditions, he's doing it by literally smashing his fingers on 2 buttons.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to find some improvements. I can see Adesi improving, and it has Basco 1:34.6. New provisional pole sitter. Probably gonna have plenty more of those, but still, McLaren sets the bar right now with a great time ahead of Nico. And basically, the later you go on the lap right now, the better time you're gonna have. So it's important to hold on and keep steady until the final moments of the qualifying session. Then again, we only have 3 minutes to go.
Sorry, keyboard invalidated over
that's
the
a
chicane in
shame.
sector 2 there. I'm trying to see how long's left in the session, but I think we have a car going around on
About
fuel.
2.5 minutes should be, because it was 3 minutes just a moment ago, so it should be around 2.5. As yeah, 3 minutes. So we still got about 3 minutes.
To P8. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep an eye on all the times to through. So Larson improves to P8. Futuristic invalidated on his lap, so he'll go around again. And what else have we got? That's keyboard Magnus.
Gurla is on a quick lap. Gurla has just started his quick lap, so I'm wondering how
Melto starting his run. We have a Mercedes. Is that magnetic? No, that's not magnetic. That'll be Run Cruiser. Just seeing who else is coming to the line. That is a...
Ooh, Gurla, half a second improvement from P7. Gurla could put a fight to the guys in the front. Half a second of improvement after first sector. This could be a big one for the Alpine driver, the championship leader, who is surely not looking to back away from the fight. As he rounds up the second sector, I'm wondering, is this going to be another possible purple for him?
Yeah, that was Matt who was going around in low fuel mode. That's why he was struggling there.
Yeah.
Virtually, a lot of them coming into the pits, and I don't think they'll have time to get out again. So a lot of them seem to have mistimed these final runs.
It's gonna be surely tough. Matt has retired, he is done, and Gurla rounding up the second sector, 0.6, but it's plus, so he's not improving at all. He's actually saving. He's gonna go for one more lap.
Crystals is crossing the line for their final lap. So too is, I want to say that's Basco again. No, Basco, yes, Basco is doing a final run. So just trying to find out who's going to cross the line first. I really wish, this is where I wish we could have static cameras on our commentary, because it'd be nice to just have a camera over the start-finish line just to see once they all come through.
Yeah, Gurla and Larson are about to start their hot laps, surely. Probably voice the same case.
Okay, Larson is coming to the line. He is on the timed
he's gonna
lap.
start. He's gonna start in a moment. Crystal's
on a warm-up.
Wesley has retired, so that's a thing. Crystals is still an out lap.
Sorry, Gurla
Cruiser!
started their final lap.
Nice one from him, 133.6, so a second faster than the second place of Basco.
Keyboard Magnussen and Smelto coming to the line now. Smelto. Again, my timer is... Nope, that was a warm-up lap for them. Keyboard Magnussen boarding his lap.
So that's going to be it for him.
Ad Disease on his outlap. We haven't mentioned the Haas's yet. But he's on his outlap. Is this Joel also starting his lap? Yes, it is.
Tilde
I
invalidated.
apologize if I'm talking over you, but they are coming thick and fast here. Nikau starting their final run, and I think they'll be the last one to cross the line. We have a Ferrari coming round. That is Crawley. His teammate Tilda has invalidated, so Crawley to the line.
Ooh, goes P2 just behind him.
We have... That wasn't Nikau. Who was that? That was... Is that Basco? Someone jumped there anyway. Nikau might have jumped Matt, actually. That might have been Nikau.
Tilde in the pits. He's done for.
What else we got moving?
Futuristic is rounding up the final corner, but it's not too
Whistle Will goes P9. Futuristic coming to the final corner now. And I think that's Ocean Chief behind him. Futuristic stays P7. Ocean Chief aborts. We have... Who else is coming around there?
Crawley Voice is on a quick lap, but he's just in second sector.
That is...
Gurla going P2. Nice one from the championship leader.
Come around here. That is Smelto approaching. And I think that's Magnetic behind him.
Aiko is improving after the second sector. It's purple for the Williams driver in sector 2.
Smelto P2.
Smelto jumps over Gurla. Cruiser is
No, it's not Magnetic, sorry. I apologize. That was Run Cruiser returning back to the
Aiko is on the run for his money. He could deliver a big one as he still
up to
P7. Aiko across the finish line. The Williams coming around right now. Where is he going to go from P7? He goes to P2. Misses out on provisional pole position. Cruiser still remains as the qualifying leader.
Basco's 2 tenths up and shouts to Adesi Mahas in P4.
Yeah, Crowley, it's not going to be enough for the Ferrari. He's going to stay P6 for now. Basco improving, but not enough to go for pole, so I guess it's safe. Ron Cruiser is going to start in Miami from pole position, and Nico from Williams is going to be joining him.
He does improve, Basco stays P7.
Yep, not enough. And the front row is Cruiser and Nico. So Run Cruiser wins the reigning qualifying session here in Miami on intermediates. Now the question number one is, what is going to be what are the conditions going to be like in the race here in the USA?
Do we have word from chat?
Start. So far, no. We do get an info that the audio levels are fine. Finally,
Excellent.
Thank you, Bjorn Price.
And
yeah, absolutely. Now we're just waiting for something about the race, what the conditions are gonna be like. Well, we're gonna find out anyway in a couple of seconds. As we await that, we can see the standings right now. Smelto and Daisy rounding up the second row, as we have the rest of the grid shown as well. And yeah, we're about to go racing in Miami in just plenty of moments.
Indeed. So, we don't know the weather. We'll find out in a second. But Miami is it seems to be dry, but even then, that doesn't mean you're safe around Miami, especially in that second sector with the sausage curbs. So
Absolutely.
Run Cruiser has done probably one of the most important bits. He's up on the front row.
Yeah, the dangerous part is that he might get whammed into the first corner. That is always the risk you're taking as the guy on pole, because you don't know what's going to happen behind you, because all the other guys behind you might...
But speaking as a race driver, you can't think like that. You know, you can't be worried about, oh, what if someone breaks a little late? You know, you can only drive for yourself. It's up to the ones behind to drive their cars. If they make a mistake, yes, it's annoying for you, but you can't be looking in your rearview mirrors thinking, oh, who's going to smash me? You just want to get that apex, get the nice launch, get through turn one.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was given info that we're not going to have any kind of formation laps. We're going to have to be ready the moments the lights are going to be turning on. We'll be getting ready to go here in Miami. So it's going to be a quick off here in the USA. So how do you think, how many safety cars here for tonight in Miami?
I'm going to say 2, not including DSCs.
Okay, so 2 safety cars are the predictions as we're getting ready to go and we're racing in
that's
Miami.
A horrific start by Run Cruiser.
Ooh, Cruiser gets a horrible start. Nico is now leading. Collision to turn 1. Here we go. No, so far everybody clean. Surprisingly, as we keep on going, Nico is still leading. Cruiser under pressure from a Daisy and Smelto. As Smelto was trying to make a move, didn't find enough space. McLaren separating. As here comes Crowley voice up into P5, trying to survive in this position. He does. It's a tight corner, but everybody make it through. Congratulations to the whole tier, as so far nobody is out. As we keep on going here in Miami, and Nico
has
gets
dropped
himself
down. Gurla's struggling, and just looking at the tire compounds, that makes sense because Gurla is on the hards. Only Gurla and Crawley in the top 10 are on the hards. Everyone else is on the mediums. Futuristic is on the softs. We've also got Crystals, AR Gamer, Wesley, and Larson on the hards. So the hards are not up to temperature. They're really struggling for grip early on, and Gurla is dropping like a stone.
Contact! Gurla made a contact with the driver on his right side. He'd spawned a bit, but that was going to be a ghost, and it's actually going to be useful for him. Look at this. He's gaining positions while he's in ghost mode because he doesn't have to care about collision. That was actually pretty good for him. He's going to have to watch out. It's going to be over in a moment.
To be honest, but anyway.
That was a bit of bump again with Keyboard Magnussen, but he keeps it going. I wonder if he has any damage from this one, but yeah, Gurla somehow fought through the ghost, but still, he lost plenty of positions on this one.
Yeah, Gurla's effectively come back out even with the ghost and where he ended up, as we see Keyboard Magnussen looking to the inside of Magnetic and making the move. Well done, Keyboard Magnussen, as Nykel obviously sets the fastest lap on lap 1. We also have, that is AR Gamer, and sorry, no, it's not AR Gamer, it was Tilda I saw going through there. Gosh, look at this. Gurla is right in the thick of it. Those hard tires are really struggling as Larson gets 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. He must have got damage from contact earlier. And Gurla up the inside of Magnetic, starting to find some pace, but has dropped like a stone, and it's hard to overtake around here.
He's slowly but surely trying to get back in there. What a start from Nico. Run Cruiser was left all the way behind. He's now catching up because Nico had just above 1 second of a gap, but now Run Cruiser is catching up to the race leader, trying to win the race leading from him, and he will. The Mercedes driver back into the lead of the Miami Grand Prix as Nico gets sent down to P2, and Nico struggling after, I believe, small contact from Run Cruiser.
I don't think it was contact.
Up to the sides.
I don't think it was contact as such, just got onto the dirty side of the track. Remember, it's
okay.
Miami is a track that's not really rubbered in too much. They're all, you can see them all rear tail drifting there. But Nikau, I mean, Run Cruiser didn't even use that much ERS there. Nikau's actually used more, which tells me that Run Cruiser is running a very low downforce setup, which could also explain his horrible start. You don't have the downforce on the rear tires, and when they're cold, it means you don't pull away from a standing start too well. But you can see he was able to make it almost effortless to get past Nikau, because DRS is not active yet. We'll see if Nikau can recover, or if Slipstream is that powerful, as Gurla and Magnetic is saying, look, I don't care if you're leading the championship, I'm going to battle you, mate. Gurla is having a bit of trouble here, and Crawley Voice dropping a position as well to Matt. The hards are just not working at the minute, and Gurla is down to 12. Futuristic got past both of them.
Absolutely horrible in the midfield. I'm looking at the front and I can see a Daisy is gaining heavily on Nico. Still didn't find enough space to overtake, but Nico, who was probably thinking about Run Cruiser, how to get back into the lead, now has to think about how to not let a Haas through, because a Daisy does have a pace. He now just have to utilize it. Well, surely he will once the DRS will be open. The whole basically top 7 is in such close contact. They're all underneath 1 second to each other. This could be potentially a great fight for the podium later on as we move forward into the Grand Prix. As of right now, not many overtakes. We're waiting for the DRS to be enabled. Nico has already closed the gap to Run Cruiser, already sitting at the back of the Mercedes driver, who is sliding. I noticed he's sliding a bit more than usual in those sharp corners, but he's still keeping the lead. It's going to be a tough one for him to do so here as we head to this long straight. A lot of slipstreams are going to be happening right now. Who's going to get the most of it, as Daisy is still running behind Nico. Is he going to do him into the final corner of this section? There he goes to the left side of Williams. Is he going to get Cruiser as well? This might be a long dive. No, he backs it up, but he will get a position up into P2 he goes.
Well, that shows two things. Number one, it shows the Slipstream is incredibly powerful along here, and number two, that considering that Run Cruiser wasn't even challenged and you said his rear is stepping out, I think he's running probably the lowest downforce out of all of the drivers. He thinks, look, if I can just handle in the corners, this means I'll be at a perfect advantage on the straights.
Absolutely, and I noticed that Crawley Voice must have had some kind of mishap, because he was a part of this long DRS train all the way to the front, but now he's about 2 seconds behind Matt, so must have been some kind of mishap for the Ferrari driver.
No damage, probably just ran a bit wide into one of the corners.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, the midfield is
he's
also
dropped well
static.
back, and even behind him, Keyboard Magnussen is a further 2.4 back, so the top group breaking away, which does technically include Crawley Voice, although only just on those hards, but the top 6 are really breaking away. Keyboard Magnussen and his teammate kind of having their own little Sunday drive. Joel is nearly 4 seconds ahead of Futuristic, and Keyboard Magnussen's nearly 3 behind Crawley Voice, so the two Saubers just having a lovely little drive around the Miami circuit, just chilling themselves, to be quite honest.
Absolutely, you know who's not chilling? Nico, who's again under pressure, this time from Smelto, as the McLaren boys are looking forward to overtake Williams. He did have a worse exit now, Smelto, from the corner, but right before this sector he was getting so much closer towards the Williams.
Gaining.
And the Daisy's gonna go for lead right now.
I mean, he is gaining, but it's not at the speed you would expect from the Slipstream, so Run Cruiser has a really good set of car under him.
Ooh, Cruiser to the outside, a Daisy to the inside, who's gonna get the better of each other, and a Daisy's gonna have to back it up for a moment. Now Cruiser remains as the leader of the Grand Prix, but a Daisy definitely has a pace. Can he now utilize it as we go into turn 1, and Cruiser still leads in Miami, but Daisy is just right on the back of him. Might do a bit more harm later on as we go. Crawley Voice was trying to get back to the top 6 for a short period of time, but now he's dropped severely from 1.2 to about 1.8 again, so surely Crawley is not catching them anytime soon right now. And Nico just made a slight mistake as he dropped a bit from a Daisy.
I get a funny feeling that we're going to see a Vettel-Schumacher incident into turn 1 at some point, because they're getting very racy into that turn 1. It is one of the better overtaking opportunities on the track. Looking at the race as a whole and the wider picture, as Futuristic is tumbling down the order, what's happened there?
Has something happened to Futuristic?
No damage. I guess he just had a wee spin or something there. He's down to 17th, unfortunately.
Yeah,
those softs, I think, are burning out already on him. He took a gamble, hasn't really paid off for him.
Yes, and in the meantime, Nico has lost a position to Smelto. The McLaren has finally overtook the Williams. He's up into P3, and Nico, I believe he has to be worried again about another McLaren than actually think about coming back to P3 as he's being attacked by Basco DRS.
Nikau has obviously gone for a more handling-oriented setup. He's really the only one
nice
that's consistently...
Nice teamwork from McLaren. Look at this, as Smelto was a bit gently braking right ahead of Nyko to actually slow him down a bit, just enough for Basco to make a move, and it was a great teamwork
lost
from
the lead,
McLaren.
as well. He's looking to the outside and surely not going to do it around the outside. He's braving it out.
Maybe.
But
Squeezing him, backing it off, but a Daisy did put a little cheeky maneuver. He was like, okay, get off the track or get out of the race, and Cruiser decided to get out of the track for now and just come back a bit behind him. But yeah, that was the best option he could have done. And Nyko, he just keeps losing positions. He dropped behind 2 McLarens, and now Matt will surely try to make a run for Williams as he just realizes that Williams is not
Sorry,
in
that's
pace
what I
right
was sort of saying on my point before the action all happened there. Nyko is the only one that's consistently being called. Now, you know, a Daisy is occasionally, if he gets a good run, able to catch up to Rune Cruiser and vice versa. But look at this. Even down this short back straight, Nyko just has no response to the other team's straight line speed. But he's, as Basco loses the rear, but there's the advantage. As the tyres wear off, Nyko will be able to stay closer through this second sector and through the faster corners. So it is a bit of a trade-off, but at the minute it's not really working out for Nyko, but we'll see as the race goes on. But as you saw, Basco just lost the rear.
Yes, we had an incident in the back. Sorry, Magnetic has spinned himself. I'm not sure with a contact or not, but he did have a spin-off and he was off the track for a minute. Thankfully, no safety car for this one for now. So keep on going, and yeah, Basco will surely get back into this fight because Nyko is not heavily on the pace right now, as we have a switch in the Kick Sauber team. Joel overtakes Keyboard Magnussen.
Daisy going to be looking for another run, is he not? Looking to the outside when there really wasn't a gap there. Not sure what the plan was. Run Cruiser is, that's a, we consider a rather obvious move. You can try and do a dummy, but there's no point doing a dummy if there's nowhere to go. But you can see the speed that they're going for, and as I say, it's just, you wonder, when is that crossover point going to be? For a couple of things. Number one, when is the high downforce going to pay dividends? And number two, when are the hards going to start coming into it? Because I have to say, what's happened there? Smelto.
Yeah, Smelto was a ghost for a moment. Something must have happened. I wasn't watching this fight, sorry, but something must have happened to McLaren.
I didn't see any spin-outs. We had no yellow flags, but he just started dropping back.
Maybe a gentle touch to the wall could be the case of a ghost, but still, doesn't matter. Nyko is not on the pace today as McLaren goes for another move.
How did he not take Matt out there? That was a very late
Jesus, yeah, Smelto was a bit too confident in this move, or too crazy, but still, he managed to make a move somehow up into P4. And now look at this, a Daisy struggling as well. He's in ghost mode too. Yeah, must have been another contact. Gentle tap on the wall as a Daisy dropped heavily from Cruiser.
Could just be netcode, where even if there's a slight hiccup, it'll ghost your car just to play it safe. They learned that from previous years because I remember my former teammate Casito. As a Daisy locks the rears.
Ooh, Nyko just about avoiding contact with Basco. Jesus, what a fight we've got going on at the top. And let me tell you what, this fight is going on for so long that Crowley Voice, who was 2 seconds behind those lads, is already catching up to almost underneath 1 second to get a DRS and rejoin the train, meaning that 7 people are still fighting for the podium tonight and for the win. Incredible beginning. I know we're not seeing a lot of the midfield battle right now, despite the fact there is one right now, as the teammates Crystals and Gurla are actually...
They're battling with Ocean Chief, and this is where I was going to try and link the point in. Crystals was down in 14th a few laps ago, is starting to make some moves, so are the Hards just maybe starting to find a little bit of their life? As you said, Crawley Voice has caught up to the back of this pack again, and they're running the Hards, so maybe the Hards are just starting to ease their way into it a little bit more now. But Crystals and Girl and likes have a long way to go, as a Desi sends it up the inside, so maybe one small error there, but they certainly seem to still have pace. There was a bit of argy-bargy there. It was like trucks in a siding there. So Run Cruiser hitting a Daisy and Matt hitting Run Cruiser. Yeah, sorry for not showing you guys some of the midfield fight, but the action for the win tonight is absolutely sensational so far. 7 cars in fight for the win. We cannot avoid this one. We will switch to midfield from time to time. Look at the most important front 2 have broken away from Matt there, sorry. As Run Cruiser goes for another move and makes it stick this time. But my gosh, they pulled out 7/10 along that back straight.
Yep, that is the advantage. And the Daisy gonna try to look for a possible comeback. Oh, gonna squeeze Cruiser a bit. He's gonna have to go to the outside on the left, and now this is gonna be entertaining. He's got a DRS. He's going around. No, sorry, Mercedes had a DRS, and he's gonna win the position back thanks to the rear wing being open. As a Daisy drops down to P2 again. What a brilliant fight we've got going on so far with Matt sitting comfortably in the P3, and Nyko being caught in a McLaren sandwich between Smelto
Crystals
and
is dropping
Bastico as
back.
Crystals is going off.
Pitting. Crystals
Yeah,
is
he's
pitting already on the hard.
Interesting. Something must have happened. Let's see if he's going to change a wing. Yes, he will. There was some kind of damage.
Just, I feel like, sorry, just to interject, I feel like I need to explain there. I'm sure if anyone is new to F1, first of all, welcome. We haven't really explained what DRS is. We've been mentioning a lot. DRS stands for drag reduction system. Occasionally you'll notice some of the cars, the little flap on the back of their wing will open up, and what that does is it reduces drag, as the name implies, and lets them travel a bit quicker, as Futuristic gets a 10-second penalty. But you may be wondering, now it only works for the car behind, so you may be wondering, well, hang on, Lars, if Run Cruiser was ahead, why did he get DRS? The reason for that is that there's two zones of DRS at Miami. One along the back straight and one just as you come across the start-finish line, but both of those are based off the same detection point, which comes just along here. So because Run Cruiser was behind at the detection point, he will get DRS for both of them. You'll see it here this time that Matt was behind, and even though he gets ahead, as there's contact there, Adesi hit the back of Run Cruiser, and Matt takes advantage, but now you'll see that Matt, even though he's ahead at the front now, should still get DRS.
Yeah, will he? And now Cruiser trying to switch on the inside. He doesn't. Cruiser gets a DRS, switches on the inside,
activate it or
into a lead. I mean, Cruiser had
getting
one,
involved
so
as well.
maybe.
Sorry, we're talking over each other. This is bedlam right now. And Nyko, don't discount Nyko yet. Gurla is now up into P8 and is 5 seconds adrift, so they're catching this battle at the front.
Yeah, we got 2 feedback from the chat. The one is that we are bollocks and we're not showing the fight for P12 to 14, and the other one is that we're not reading the feedback. Well, we fixed one of those, so let's fix the second one and show some battle from P12 down to P.
I mean, I would, but the main battle is up here where it's closer. I mean, P12 to 14 are covered by. I mean, yes, Wesley is battling for 13th place, and we do want to show as much as we can. But when you have a 7-car battle for the lead, you wouldn't expect FOM to back away from this footage.
I was trying to explain this one, but you know, people want what they want, so we're gonna have to switch from time to time again.
Well, I suppose, but I mean, you try and find a moment to look away from this battle. This is absolutely breathtaking. And amazingly, they haven't got any track limit warnings. I could have sworn we would have had some by now going through Sector 2. It's so easy to jump the sausage curve. But
I mean, warnings might be there, but the penalties are still clear, surprisingly. So maybe there are some warnings,
having
but
a go.
more penalties. Matt is going to easily overtake Cruiser now with a DRS. Any more switches in the front? So far, no. As Crowley Voice joins the DRS train officially as he gets the DRS and is now back into the fight. For the win, we have an incident! Smelto! One person less in that fight for the win as of right now, as Smelto makes a spin coming out of the final corners, and he's now out of the DRS
wonder, did he
train.
spin himself on weak tyres, or was there contact? We've seen some drivers getting very close to Argy-Bargy out of that final corner heading towards the wall. So was there contact? We didn't see because we were watching the battle for the lead at the same time. Further back, Ocean Chief there. Overtaking AR Gamer, that's just on the
Oh, it's raining! Look at this! It's starting to rain! Look at the track!
You are quite right, there are spots of rain. That's going to do the medium runners no favours whatsoever.
Absolutely.
But then again, Crawley Voice, to be honest, it's not going to do any of them any favours, because even if Crawley Voice has better tyres, the hards will cool down much more easily, being such a tough rubber compound. So, so you do have to wonder, is anyone going to survive this? As Matt, well, his lead doesn't survive because Run Cruiser gets ahead. Oh, there's a bit of a bump there.
Yeah, now it's a question of how long.
And Magnetic's gambled. He's gone to the inters. So there's our guinea pig. He will tell us how wet the track is when we check his lap times.
I don't think it's too bad
that's
for now.
Joel in the wall.
Ooh. Joel on the wall.
So he drops down to P14. Ocean Chief now in the points. Keyboard Magnussen has caught up to Gurla and Smelto. No sign of the flashing lights on. The key that we're... a Daisy drifting wide. He's gotten the dirty stuff. Now the key word that we're looking for is, hopefully it'll show up at the top of the screen. The words you're looking for on screen are DRS disabled. Because whilst in real life it's up to the steward's discretion, the game has a very much it's enabled or disabled. And if it's disabled, that is universally recognized as Smelto leaves the session. Did he retire?
Retired. Yeah, must have just quit the game at this point because he entered the pit lane too quickly.
Smelto's gone for inters on his, or his AI has. Gurla's gone for inters. The key word we're looking for is DRS disabled, because that is universally seen as the crossover point. Once DRS is disabled, and I think it may have happened already because we have flashing red lights on the back of every car right now.
Yeah, and I don't see DRS from the cars in the top 6 as they're going through sectors. I don't think there's DRS in here, is there? I think it is.
Yes, there is still DRS.
Yes, there is DRS. Look at
there
this.
is
There's
DRS,
still
but the
those
rain
DRS,
lights are on. The rain lights are on.
Yeah, it's about a matter of seconds at this point as Matt backs it off. A Daisy couldn't break in time, just a slight bump on the Aston Martin of Matt.
That was more Matt somehow sandwiching it perfectly in between a very small gap.
Yeah,
DRS has been disabled.
There it is.
So,
DRS is off.
I mean, the leaders won't suffer too much. They've just got like one corner to go after this, after the long straight, so they won't suffer too much on being on the wrong compound of tyre. But Gurla weighed it up perfectly to get on the inters and is immediately taking advantage of by passing Whistlewill. But they're still a fair old distance behind. I don't know if it's enough for them to... might be enough to get into this leading battle. It won't be enough to retake the lead. But
Yeah, surely.
I don't think it will be. They've got the long straight to go. Plus that last corner on, and it's... Of course, you know, pit stops are so much quicker nowadays. It's a fairly short pit lane entry. And pit stops only take about 2 seconds unless you've got damage to repair. Like, everybody's coming in. It's absolute Piccadilly Circus in the pit lane. And we will go with Gurla as they're coming around the final corner now. So they will get ahead of AR Gamer, they will get ahead of Keyboard Magnus, and the drivers are leaving the pit lane now. I don't think they're going to retake the lead because Gurla will have to go around an extra
Gurla's
corner.
Gonna gain a lot. Look at this. He's gonna gain a lot of positions right now as he heads down from the
They've
bottom.
gained a lot of time, and they're at the back of this train.
Yep, that was a great one from Gurla. That stop basically made him rejoin the battle for the win, so Gurla is in a very good spot right now. That benefited him heavily right now, this pit stop.
I mean, it shouldn't take too long for the tyres to heat up, though, especially since the rain is only just coming down. It's not like it's torrential rain. And Gurla still has a lot of work to do to get up to the lead, but they've caught up to Crawley and Basco in this train. But of course, there's no DRS to help any of them now, so it's going to be all about the straight line speed. And that's where I want to keep an eye on Nightcow. I'm wondering how well their setup will serve them here. Because we thought they were running a high downforce setup, maybe in anticipation of this rain.
Could be the case.
Although still losing current ground to Basco a little bit. The tyres seem to be doing just enough of a job. And this is going to be so frustrating for Gurla because they're thinking, I'm on the warm rubber, I'm ready to go here. But good luck trying to find a way through in Sector 2. I've never seen a car make a move there in any league race I've done around here. So that will give time for the front 6 to get their tyres up to temperature. And Gurla's going to have to do this the hard way.
Yep, I mean, it's better to do this than nothing. At the end of the day, he should be lucky that he rejoined the battle for the win because he didn't have to, but this pit stop basically improved his race heavily. He's now back into the mix of the potential race winners, so this is still better than nothing. Again, it's going to be tough to make some overtakes, but surely the chances will appear as the drivers will make some mistakes, as Naiko is now looking for a way past
speaking of
behind
mistakes, Smelto seemed to make an error there as Keyboard Magnus ahead. No, Smelto is... So Smelto didn't retire, he's just left the session.
Yeah, it's just AI driving, so probably gonna just ignore this one.
Unless he gets back in soon, he will be disqualified. If you finish under AI, then your position is forfeit. As, let's see, there's a bit of a gap forming now. It shows you how powerful DRS was. Because Basco has dropped outside of a second of Naiko. The top 4 are now breaking away, and even Run Cruiser is a second ahead of Matt. So smaller gaps, so weak gaps starting to form, and this is not going to help Gurla, because they're going to think, hang on, even if I get past these two, now I'm dropping behind the others. So some gaps starting to form, which means we're slowing down a bit, which means I think we can look at chat if anything is happening.
So far, not really. They're just reminiscing about driving in Miami with Dice, one of the best, quote-unquote, worst drivers of the grid. Depends on which one is your favorite. I personally love Dice. He always brings out joy, smile on my face, and a couple of safety cars, so I absolutely enjoy the driver.
Is he the Maldonado of this league, is what you're telling me?
Kinda.
Kinda.
I think he did have a win, so yeah, basically.
Basically, Maldonado, there you go.
Yeah, still, looking for some fight on the track. Maybe something in the
not really a lot of fight. I think,
yeah,
I think we're going to have to wait a couple laps while they sort of explore the limits and get the tyres up to temperature. Otherwise, stuff like that happens as AR Gamer gets 3 seconds.
Yeah, the closest person to a possible overtake right now is only Naiko, being 0.3 away from a Daisy, but in those conditions, he would only need some kind of huge mistake of a Haas driver to get some position. Right now, we're just going to have a battle between the drivers and the track conditions before the conditions will get better, and unless they won't, it's just going to be a man against the machinery all the way to the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, Naiko is catching up on the Desi, and that's heavier in Sector 1 at least. and that's that heavier downforce setup that we saw, or that we suspected. So it's paying on. But here's the problem: it's paying dividends in Sector 1, but it's very rare to overtake in Sector 1 because it's usually just flat out. Sector 2, there's no room at all. And on Sector 3, the low downforce setup is much more effective because it's basically a long straight. So Nycow's going to have to somehow find a way to do it in Sector 1. Maybe he has a chance here, seem to get a better exit, but again, there's just not the straight line speed at the minute, even with the slipstream for Nycow. And they've already burnt their ERS. Maybe last of the late breakers? Thought about it.
Going to take a risk for now. Ooh, there it is. The mistake of a Daisy as he makes too late of a break, trying to avoid collision with Matt, and that's going to cause him to drop position to the Williams as Nycow picks up P3. And I'm wondering, is he going to go for Matt right now? Aston Martin still sitting at P2, slowly but surely dropping away from Cruiser, who already made about 2 seconds worth of gap of himself over the guys in P2 and P3 as Nycow is now going to hunt down Matt from Aston Martin.
Shows you the difference. I know some people are thinking like, oh, what they worried about is a little bit of water. I can still drive along the motorway at 70 miles an hour in my car, you know, even when it's chucking down with rain. Number one, that's a dumb thing to do. Please don't do that. But number two, you know, these F1 cars are really not designed for the wet. They're designed for ideal conditions. They're specialized machines. And it just goes to show you that just because, you know, even with a change of tire to mitigate the changes, they're running 8-9 seconds a lap slower. Shows you just how much of an impact even just some water can have on the way you have to handle these cars, the way they steer, the way you drive them. It's a completely different beast, as you can see them slip sliding everywhere. And there's a bit of end plate going off. Who did that come off?
Ooh,
I saw some end plates flying.
Could be the case, but I don't see damage on anybody from the top. There it is, Aston Martin, Matt. He's missing his right front wing template. Yes,
he must make contact with the wall then, because there's no one.
Yeah, must have. So that's surely not going to help this race at all, as Nycow is already looking forward to overtake him. In the meantime, Gamer made a move on Smelter, but now Nycow.
And I'll tell you what, as well, it's the right side end plate, which means it's going to affect his left hand turning, and of course. So it's his anti-clockwise turning, and of course Miami is an anti-clockwise track. That's literally the one part of the front wing he didn't want to lose.
Yeah, he just lost it, so it's not going to be an easy travel for him right now, as Nycow already made a move, and it's now 2.5 seconds behind Cruiser. Could he catch up to the Mercedes driver? Maybe. We're going to see in a couple of moments, as Daisy is also struggling a bit in those conditions, as we can see already Basco trying to get closer to the Haas driver. He already has Crowley Voice on his back, and Gurla has dropped significantly behind Crowley Voice. He was behind him when the DRS was enabled, and now that it's off and it's raining, he's already 1.4 behind the Ferrari driver, so Gurla is not having a good time in those conditions.
Neither Alpine is. It's I wonder if they share setups, because both Alpines have really suffered here today. Crystal's down in 15th place. Gurla is in 7th, but to be fair, that was more from a canny pit stop timing than any outright race pace. They were actually together on track for most of the start, and as you said, Gurla's not really making any impressions at the minute. Keyboard Magnussen has dropped well back, but Gurla, I mean, it's still good news for Gurla, leading the championship, and their nearest rival is Crystals, who will not be taking any points at the minute, but 7th is not worth a lot, and the likes of Basco, who is still fairly close in the championship, are ahead of them and will close that gap, so not the greatest day at the office in the world for Gurla. At least Alpine don't have to worry. Like I said, they're nearly 100 points clear in the constructors, thanks to the total points from multiple drivers, but still not a day that the French team will want to remember at the minute, bar some miracles happening for Crystals and some luck happening for Gurla.
Yeah, the season is a long way to go, so there might be a couple of shifts. So this is going to be definitely an important possible turning point for the Alpine team, as this is going to be their worst Grand Prix so far in the season. I'm looking for a possible overtake up in the front, because the whole of midfield and the back are separated heavily by huge gaps, and Crowley Voice is actually trying to get close enough to McLaren to make the move. It's not going to be close enough just about yet, and Daisy is trying to get some usage of Matt Damage, who then again, remember, he has a broken front wing template, so Daisy might use this one to make an overtake for P3, but as of right now he's going to have to follow Matt through, as he doesn't have enough pace, but I would say just a matter of time, looking at the way that Daisy is gaining on the Aston Martin driver.
Of course, front downforce also affects your braking, which you really want to be working at maximum capacity in these conditions. So Matt just taking it very gingerly into the braking zones, which is why you see a Daisy closing up and the gap just slowly increasing. Matt now a second behind Nycow, but Nycow not making any inroads on Run Cruiser, 3.7 the gap at the minute. And of course, the question now we've got to ask ourselves is, if tyre wear is as bad around here as we saw it to be, will one set of inters last until the end of the Grand Prix? There's still 11 to go. And of course, tyre wear is scaled, so they've basically got, what, 75% of the race that they've got to run on one set of tyres?
Yeah, but then again, intermediates are not degrading that heavily, and I mean, if you were to pit, then when? In like about 5 laps, because if you're gonna box in the next 10 laps, it's gonna be too late, and it's not gonna be much more, because fresh inters will not give you this much of an advantage. In the meantime, Bosco and Crowley are going at it. Ooh, Bosco trying to find some space on the right side. He does find enough space, and he keeps his position from Crowley Voice, who was trying to make a move, but didn't quite deliver, as McLaren is struggling on these huge curbs, and now the Ferrari is gonna try to make a comeback for it. Oh, gentle tap on the wall. That's gonna spend them from overtaking Basco at least for a short period of time.
Crowley Voice burning everything as well. They're down to 8% on ERS. I mean, you're quite right about, yes, the racer, and you would say, yes, take all these to the end, but I don't know, I'm old enough to remember the 2005 season where Kimi Räikkönen thought, look, I'll take my tyres to the end. Ended up getting a puncture and flinging his front suspension off. Would have got 3rd place if he pitted, potentially cost him the championship. So, you know, on a day where, on a slippy track like this, is it better to maybe just, you know, lose 1 or 2 positions and take home some guaranteed points, or do you take the risk and potentially spin it off into a wall and go home with nothing?
Taking a risk. I mean, basically everybody from the top 7 is gonna be thinking about taking the risk, because when you are that close to each other, there's no way you're just gonna, you know, abandon the possibility of getting a podium at minimum, because basically everybody in the top 7 is still in the fight for the podium. While Cruiser basically has a race in his pocket. He's 4.2 ahead of Nitro. The gap keeps extending.
I'm knocking on wood here. Do not commentators curse that man.
I'm gonna take the blame if that's going to happen. So the Mercedes driver is pulling away gently, and he does have a win in his pocket, unless, of course, the disaster would struck. Let's hope not. But then again, could be the case, as Nico keeps being behind him.
In that case, Al will take the opportunity to then use my one free curse and say shouts to Crowley Voice. Even if he does get overtaken by Gerla, and if he just keeps it clean, he will be the one to finally open Ferrari's account this season. Of course, Ferrari the only team at the minute with 0 points. So it would be good to see some points on the board for Ferrari. Maybe vault them ahead of, I want to say, Mercedes are their closest rivals in the championship, which is historically accurate, but normally it's for a fight over 1st place, not last place in the constructors. As indeed Gerla does. Oh well, goes alongside, but Crowley's trying to brave it out. Don't brave it out against that wall, Crowley.
You just don't have enough grip on the outside on these intermediates. So
Crowley, my boy, you can fight another car, you can fight grip on the track, you cannot fight a concrete wall. You will lose that fight every time.
Yeah, kinda. Don't see it any other way. And yeah, the gaps just keep on pulling, getting bigger than before. Even the top 7 is now getting slowly but surely separated from each other, as the gaps just keep on getting bigger. In the meantime, Wesley is actually decreasing his gap toward Joel, as he's caught up nicely to the Kick Sauber car and is now potentially looking to fight for a pointing position, because he's P11 right now, fighting for P10, which could deliver 1 point for the Williams. That is if he's going to overtake Joel from Kick Sauber team, which is not impossible, as Joel is struggling right now heavily, and Wesley could be looking for a possible overtake, as he's doing great right now on these tires.
Just looking further back as well, of course, Smelto's still the AI. He's down to P12, so he wouldn't score any points anyway, even if he was under AI conditions. Just also watching Crystals just had a really hard day, haven't they? Just can't find a way past Whistle. Sliding around everywhere, just doesn't have the pace to match their teammate or really the competitive pace of the overall leaders, as Smelto is past, but of course he's a ghost, you can just go right through him. So Crystal's up to P13, but that's little consolation considering they're 2nd in the championship. Really bad day at the office. Joel and Wesley battling here. We got them up to those two. Wesley obviously not wanting to be overshadowed by their teammate, even if their teammate is a tier 1 driver. Trying to battle away there. Basically saying, look, I don't want to be the Logan Sargent in our little Williams relationship. Give me some battling. As Joel mounts the curb, surely we'll have to give that position back.
Oof. That was
forcing Wesley towards the wall.
Not giving up anything in here. Joel's trying to squeeze there. You just said a couple of times before you've never seen overtake in this place. This could have been one if Wesley would have sticked it. He didn't, but he's still going to get a position as he moves ahead of Joel right now on that long straight. Nice maneuvers from Williams, and that allows him to get up into the pointing position as Joel drops to P11. And the gaps in the tops are getting bigger. The only two drivers from the top are now fighting are Crowley Voice and Gurla. Those guys are still going at it for a possible P6. Daisy is dropping significantly to Matt, a bit less underneath 1 second, but still 0.8 of a difference.
Yeah. Nice to see the aggressive racing, no quarter asked nor given by those drivers, even if it's just for 1 point, as Crowley Voice tries to make amends and does make amends, goes ahead of Gurla. Gurla presumably thinking of the long game, saying, look, I'll just get you on the straight on the next corner, although Crawley has more ERS still, so he'd obviously been planning that move for a while, saving up his energy, and now should have the ERS to defend if he needs to use it.
Yeah, I was wondering what about the conditions, if there's any possibility that the track could be drying up a bit and the rain might go off, but
you can sort of
go, I don't think so.
It's not a perfect indicator on the game, but you can sort of look at the sky. If there's hints of blue, it's usually a sign the weather is changing, but if you look at the skies on the onboard, it's grey, misty all the way through, which usually implies that, especially given the number of laps we have left, the rain is here to stay. Probably won't intensify, but I think we're stuck with this good weather condition till the end of the race.
Yeah, most likely. Wesley does have a great pace in this Williams right now, as he just pulled away from Joel for 1.4 seconds worth of gap that he have built over the couple of last laps. So the Williams driver is nicely and gently pulling away to finish this Grand Prix in the points, as he's right now in P10. Whistle is trying to close it in on Crystals for a potential P12 battle. In the top, Gurla has dropped significantly behind Crowley Voice. Crowley Voice is actually pulling a nice gap on Gurla. This could be just about above 1 second gap if he focuses and tries hard enough. But yes, there it is, over 1 second gap for Crowley Voice over Gurla. Yep.
Not that it matters too much anyway when you don't have DRS. The 1 second isn't as much of the boon that you think it is, because you still, even if DRS is disabled, you still get the dirty air from the car in front, even in wet weather conditions. Just looking at the overall story of the race, the biggest winner so far is AR Gamer, albeit with a 3-second penalty. He's gone up 11 places from the start, Wesley up 9 places, Matt and Crystals are up 5, although Crystals would hardly say he's winning at the minute, he's down in P12. Biggest loser at the minute is Smelto, although he hasn't really been here for much of the race. Biggest winner who has been here for most of the race is poor old Magnetic, down in P19. He's lost 9 places since the start, so some big winners and losers there. But right now the main winner, of course, is Run Cruiser, who is 5.4, and like his namesake, is running away with this victory. Naikau has found a nice little gap, 3 seconds ahead of Matt, who is still driving with that damage, but Daisy just cannot seem to do anything about that at the minute.
Yeah, if Matt is going to be able to deliver a podium finish with this amount of damage in this kind of competition with those names on the board, this would be surely a great achievement for an Aston Martin driver, because the names alongside him are not an easy one to battle, and he is battling them heavily as he still pushes on in his broken Aston Martin to try to deliver the best possible results that could be the podium for Matt, if he's going to deliver all the way through to the end, as we seemingly have almost no fight on the track right now. Whistle gets a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations. I was about to say Tilde is entering the fight, but he's not. He's just overshadowing Smelto's ghost. So as of right now, virtually no realistic fight for the position.
Is settled a bit now, but don't think that means that the action's all over. We've seen before at Spa how things can go completely chaotic on the last lap. All we need is a late safety car, or even just a sudden deterioration of the tires, and for someone to make an error, and especially with the front 7 being as close as they are all together, you never know. I mean, if someone, smashes in the middle of Sector 2, that could be a 7-car pile-up, and then suddenly you have the likes of Keyboard Magnussen fighting for the win. So, anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does. So, don't discount it just yet. We have a battle, Crystals.
Getting overtaken.
Around the outside of Joel, up to P11, so on the fringes of the points. And I suppose even 1 point to take away from here would be a good result for Crystals, given the race they've had.
And we've got a fight between Gurla and Crowley Voice. Gurla just made an overtake up into P6, despite Crowley penalty. He did make a move on the Ferrari drivers. Now going to try to push to pull away a bit, and in the meantime, Daisy has closed the gap on Matt. He's 0.3 behind the Aston Martin with a bit of front wing damage, and is gonna surely try to push on those final laps to break himself up into a podium place. And again, Matt is gonna have to work hard to defend his possible podium finish.
Indeed. Still 6 laps to go, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you consider it's basically 1/6 of the entire race, you realize like, wow, this is actually quite a sizable chunk. As Smelto's AI is doing battle with Verti down in 16th and 17th, so hey, even computers like to have fun, it seems. Adesi, sells him the dummy. Matt makes the defensive move, but Adesi thinks better of it. He's been caught out of that corner once before this race, and he doesn't want to do it again. So he says, no thank you very much this time, I'll get you on another part of the track.
Here we're gonna have most likely the best fight all the way to the finish we're gonna have is the one between Daisy and Matt, as Daisy seems to be just a bit faster than Matt in most of the track sectors, so Daisy could be looking for a possible podium finish. But then again, Matt was doing a great job so far defending off from the Haas, but now he just can't do anything at all, as the Haas is just way quicker down the straight. Is he? He is, but is he gonna defend the position? Yes, he does move up into P3, and Daisy makes an overtake on Matt, and I'm struggling to believe in the fact that Matt could potentially get a podium in here with this damage. Then again, he wants to make me an unbeliever because he does go around the outside to the left side of the Haas, but surely with this kind of damage and this amount of grip, he's not gonna do this. As Daisy cuts him off and is now gonna defend even further from Matt, who will surely try to make an attack in the future, but it doesn't look good for an Aston Martin right now.
Handily sniffed her to the outside, but that's not gonna happen. Yeah, I mean, logically you'd say that Matt's sort of lost the podium here now, but when has logic ever stopped Aston Martin before? I mean, by their logic, Lance Stroll is someone to keep on your team. But, I mean, look, here we go, Matt's trying to come back at him. Does he sell the dummy? Or does he get sold the dummy?
We'll have a couple of moments using the slipstream to the outside. Can he do it? It's gonna be a tough one, but not an impossible task for Matt as he goes around the outside, and here Daisy taking the right side from him and cutting off any possible overtake. Then again, if Matt will make a good exit from the final corner in the sector, he might have a run down to the final corners after this long straight on Daisy. He's right behind the Haas right now.
Basco's joining this battle as well. This Basco's not without just shouting at the podium as well.
Absolutely, this could be a three-man battle for the podium all the way to the finish line. There goes Matt using the slipstream, and he will get the better of Daisy once more. So this is gonna be surely a three-man battle for the final spot on the podium all the way to the finish line as we enter lap 26, and Matt regains P3 from Daisy, having a little bump on the Haas as he's pushed down to P4, and will surely try to get back after him right in a moment as he's looking for another possible overtake as Matt switches to the right, Daisy goes to the left, Matt cuts him off, and the Haas driver doesn't have many more options as Basco is watching this whole thing going on from the front row.
Meanwhile, slightly further back, Crystals is on the fringe of the points. Would love to take even just something from today's race after the dismal day they've had. Could maybe get 1 point from Wesley, 3/10 away. And going down the back straight, but not close enough on this occasion. Wesley holding his line in that second Williams, and Crystal's losing the rear a little bit as well. And what's this? Wesley pits.
Ooh, interesting.
That's a very interesting choice. So,
I mean, when I'm looking at the track right now, I just realized it's not raining anymore. Look at this. It's not raining, so this might be a moment for slicks. It's gonna be an experiment, surely, but this one might be successful. I mean, the top boys will not pit, surely. It's not worth it at this point in time. But the back of the grid, I mean, what's there to lose? Just go for it, make some kind of exotic run, and hope for the best, you know, why not? Oh, as I'm saying this, Wesley was coming out of the pits, and he almost hit the wall on the way out, trying to get out of the pit lane. So this is gonna be surely a hell of a lot of fun right now for the guys on slicks to try to keep this car under control.
I mean, there's still 4 to go, and we saw how quickly the rain came down. It could just as easily dry up fairly quickly. Before you know it, those inters may be overheating or just losing all their grip.
But when you're looking at the gap between the keyboard Magnussen and the top 7 of 17 seconds, I don't think there's going to be enough time for anybody from the top 7 to pit and then make a comeback. Maybe Crowley Voice, but he does have a penalty. As I'm saying this, Daisy heads into the pits. This is going to be a huge gamble for the guys to come in right now. So is Crowley Voice coming in. And
it is
the
very bright out there at the minute, though, I have to say. And look, you can see there's not even much
Yeah.
standing water on the track right now.
3 seconds for Wizawil as we
And I can
speak.
see,
And
I'm
oh,
just watching the intermediate drivers, they're sliding all over the place a minute. We have yellows.
yeah, this is a big one, and that yellow was caused by who? This looks like a Red Bull, but which one though? Could
So
be
Desi
just someone
comes out
being lapped.
P6, 17 seconds gap. Crawley Voice has lost out to AR Gamer and will have to make the pass. But if the others pit, then the Desi's in prime position. Let's just see how they do. They're not
Let's see
sliding
how
all over
Daisy
the
is
place.
catching up. Daisy does have 18 seconds gap towards Gula right now.
Oh,
Oh,
sliding
Daisy's
off the track
struggling
a bit
too.
there.
So the intermediates are tough, but the slicks are not perfect as well. So you might say that these inter will last all the way to the finish line. It will be tough, but they can surely last, especially the advantage they have built over the whole race.
I
So
mean,
a Daisy, 18 seconds, I don't think it's going to be enough for him in the following laps to just get back out there into a podium fight. Could be the case, but I don't think
I mean,
it
he
will.
just gained 3/10 in a couple of corners there, so maybe
Yeah, and
he's
he
heating up
just
the
made a
tires. Oh, wait, dropping
huge
back
mistake.
a bit there.
Yeah, he just made a huge mistake, as you were
Well,
saying about this one.
supposedly
so.
anyway. It's kind of hard to. Oh no, no.
Oh, no,
Oh, he's breaking
and
the
he
front wing
picked
as
up
well.
Gamer as well. Gamer must be fuming about this one.
No,
as he was
well,
having
I
a
don't
good
think he
run.
broke Gamer's wing. I think no, Gamer's wing is fine. It's his own.
I
One
mean,
that got
could be
busted.
some kind of damage there on the Red Bull, as this was a pretty big shunt. But as we say that, Red Bull is coming closer and in, and Gamer trying to find an overtake on a Daisy, and he does. Those used inters proven to be so
Oh.
better.
Crystals with the 3 seconds. I
time
could knock them down to
penalty.
P10.
Aye, aye, aye.
Really rough day of the office for them and a Daisy. Just yeah, in hindsight, not the right move. Surprised they took the gamble. I mean, it's cost them 3 places.
I mean, can't blame them. The track was dry. He didn't have too much to lose because it's not like he's going to
But
lose
again, what have we
positions, but
said?
still.
The key words you're looking for at the top would be DRS enabled. And it's not
Yeah.
enabled yet, simply put.
Yeah, that clearly opens up the... Oh, Joel with 3 seconds as well. That clearly opens up the chance for Basco for a potential podium finish. Then again, Gurla still in the game, but Matt, who was defending from a Daisy this whole time, is now going to have to
Basco
defend...
has just teleported behind Gurla.
Yeah, I just realized. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so Basco teleported his way out of the podium fight. So as I was saying, Gurla is now in the fight for the podium against Matt, but then again, he's going to have to close this gap
Oh,
a bit.
Gurla's sliding right out there. Gurla's struggling.
So Matt could have been gifted a podium right now if Formula 1 gods are watching, because Basco just got yeeted out of the podium fight.
We've got yellows in
And
sector 3. Who's
Matt
that?
is still P3. Wesley has retires, but I think it's in the pit lane, so we shouldn't be worried about
And we've
this
got
too
a
much.
Sauber in the wall. I think that's Joel.
Yeah, this must be the reason for the yellows as well, but we're not gonna have a safety car with those 2 laps to go, so Matt is still holding on to the P3, and Joel is gonna come into the pits most likely to retire.
Gurla.
Yep, there he goes.
Gurla stepped way out of line there. Are we going to get a repeat of Spa where Gurla DNFs on the final lap?
Yeah.
Because, of course, they're pushing to try
Hopefully
and get
not.
that podium, but they've got to think of the championship, surely.
Yeah, surely. So, Cruiser basically has a win in his hand unless a huge catastrophe strikes. Naiko doesn't seem to be moving. Ocean Chief gets the 3 seconds. Matt is securing his podium with Gurla's mistake, is now P4 though. Vasco dropped to P5. Gamer moved up to P6, but then again the penalties will be applied after the race, with Crowley being P7. A Daisy dropped down all the way to P8 after switching for slicks. Not the best decision today.
Should move up a bit though with Crawley Voices. Well, yeah, with Crawley Voices penalty, he should move up to 7th.
Yeah.
Just watching Gurla's immediately dropped like a second, realizing, look, there's no point pushing the podium's gone, and my tires have as well. So, realizing their error, that they're not going to get the podium, and have just taken too much out of their tires.
Yes.
Only
Damien just
pitted 1 lap
mentioned-
earlier, but that 1 lap made all the difference.
Damien
it
just
seems.
mentioned that the top 6 of the top 10 are reserves at the moment. Yeah, I mean, that's how it happened. Anyway, the race is coming to an end as Run Cruiser is rounding out the final corners of this wet and dry Miami Grand Prix, and after not going for slicks, stays on the intermediates, gets the pole position, and he wins here in Miami. The Mercedes picks up the victory, and Naiko is going to be finishing right behind him, despite the fact he got off to a great start in the race. He was P1 for a short period, but he's going to finish in P2. And Matt, who was under pressure from almost every single driver in the top 7 for the whole race and has a front wing damage all the way to the end, pushes through the reserve drivers from Tier 1, and he picks up the final spot on the podium as Gurla comes right behind him with Basco. And now the penalties will be applied, as Gamer will most likely still stay in P6. Now, what about Crowley and a Daisy? A Daisy is dropping heavily. Look at this.
3.1, yeah, I mean, gaining a little bit, maybe just got a little slip on the rear. Might be enough to save Crawley Voice. He's within 3 seconds now. Probably burning everything just to make sure that gap stays closed. And indeed, he does get ahead of Crawley Voice, but still P8 for the Ferrari driver. So
yeah,
Ferrari
Keyboard
finally gets some points on the board.
Keyboard
But of course,
is not done yet.
Of course, their main concern was maybe potentially catching up to Mercedes, but Mercedes have just taken 25 points in the constructors.
Oh, Keyboard Magnussen at the end of the race got squeezed into a wall by a Haas of Whistlewell, and despite all the penalties, that's gonna push him to P11 because Tilde used this scenario to pick up P10, and Keyboard Magnussen must be fuming. He was about to pick up points, but Haas put him in the wall, and because of this, he dropped below the Ferrari, who picks up the 1 point instead of the kick-Haas Sauber. What a finish in P10, Jesus.
Double points for Ferrari as the V-Carb car power slides across the line. You can just see him recovering there. And Crystal's put their car in the wall. Obviously, that kind of sums up their whole race, to be honest.
Jesus.
AR Gamer gets driver of the day. I guess. I don't even know at this point, to be honest. I'll have to go and think about it.
I'm not sure.
There you go.
It's gonna go to him.
Joins as a reserve, doesn't elaborate, wins pole, wins the race, leaves.
Leaves. I mean, of course, Gamer could be the case, starting last, finishing P6. That is a great run. Matt is also a possibility.
Right, I forgot about that. So
yeah, so it's for me, it's between Gamer and Matt. But yeah, we're gonna think about this.
I kind of miss
it
when the game gave the really silly choices for driver of the day. That was always funny to see. You were looking and it was like, how on earth did they get driver of the day? But anyway, as you said, Run Cruiser wins, Night Cow second, Matt third, and with the fastest lap point, no less. That did Matt. So Gurla fourth, Basco fifth, AR Gamer sixth, Daisy seventh, Crawley Voice eighth, Crystals ninth, Tilda takes the final point 10th. Behind them, we've got Magnussen, Ocean Chief, Whistlewill, Larson, Smelto, Verci, Magnetic, Joel, and Wesley. The only DNF officially is Futuristic in the Visa Cash FRB. I know Joel and Wesley did retire in the pit lane, but they were within the 3 laps, so they do officially get classified for what it's worth. So there we go. Well, that was certainly more exciting than the real life Miami races anyway.
Absolutely. And we do have our first guest of an interview, as Crystals is already waiting for an interview. Gurla just joined, but since Crystals was the first one to be waiting for an interview, he's gonna get the first speech of the day. So let's get the Alpine driver into the booth right away.
If you're able to drag them in, there you go.
Yep. Yeah, hello, Crystals.
Hello.
Crystals.
So,
do you want? Do you want to take this question, or will I?
Go on.
It was just a disaster.
What can only be described, Crystals, as a tough day at the office. Care to explain the race from your perspective?
Well, I think it's better to explain first the quality.
Well, okay, go ahead then.
Yeah, I basically tried to go as late as possible, but so I did like 2 warm laps, and then I was going really slowly. I didn't look at the time, and like I just missed out. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, I got P70 on quali, and then race was just a disaster. I got the starter from wind damage, and it was just impossible to recover. I had to do like half of the race like that, and then I P4 interest, and it was just difficult to overtake. And the front pack was already pretty away from me. But also we got 5 reserves who they just go at the front. So in the end it would have been Gurla P1 and me I think P4 or P3. But I think probably today they messed up with the reserves, but that's another thing.
Well, obviously, I mean the drivers are allowed to have their say on that, but that's more the FIA's department to deal with, not ours. I mean, I suppose the main disappointment for you is you were second. You're second in the championship. You still are, as far as I can work out. But 20-point deficit that has increased. It's still early days in the season, but presumably your main thought was, can I beat my teammate and try and get a bit closer? You were somewhat saved, of course. Smelto, who is also in the championship fight, disconnected. Basco, I think, was probably the biggest winner of the championship fight. But I mean, how hard are you taking this? Is this presumably for you? It's not the big disaster that we're trying to drum up the drama for, but presumably you're confident you'll bounce back next week.
Yeah, I don't think it's full confidence. I think right now I'm just pretty angry. I'm frustrated. Yeah, it was a disaster for me. So
a man after my own heart. I had a bad race. I'm going to go and eat. There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go soon. But it was a disaster overall for not for constructor championship, but yeah, for my personal championship. So we'll see. I knew that Miami was gonna be my worst track pace wise, and also yeah, I hate the track. It just yeah, pretty
Fair
bad.
enough.
So yeah,
So
we'll see next week.
I was going to say next week is where's our calendar gone? Sorry, just bear with us. I have lost the calendar.
Yeah, but
Should be on an info chat. Let me check. League
It's
info. The
Brazil.
next race, it's Brazil, round 6.
Ooh, a favorite of mine. I think I don't know any driver that doesn't like Brazil. To be quite
Yeah,
honest,
it's actually one of my best tracks. So
I mean,
we'll see.
fast flowing elevation changes. It's a classic. It's great. There's a reason it used to be the finale of the real life F1 race. So you're looking forward to that one, I can tell.
Yes, it's probably one of my best tracks. So we'll see.
Well, we look forward to seeing you dominate in Brazil then.
I know I'll try to get the win. So yeah, we'll see.
Good
It
stuff.
depends. Yeah, also on reserve. So yeah, we'll see.
Right. Well, thank you very much for that then, Crystals.
Yep.
And we've got, we'll let you go and eat now. What are you having, by the way?
Yeah.
And can I have some?
I don't know. I see. When I go to the kitchen. So
Send me the menu. Anyway, we'll speak to you
Yeah,
later
okay.
on, okay?
Yeah. See ya. Bye bye.
Adios. We've got
Okay.
Gurla and Matt in there. We'll bring Matt in.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, just real quick. I've noticed when there was a discussion about driver of the day, and I've noticed that someone in the radio has typed there hashtag anyone but AR gamer. What did he ever do to you? But anyway, we've got Matt in here. Well done, Matt. Driver of the
Hi.
day in both our books. A podium despite the damage, and fastest lap. That's a pretty good job by your standards, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's a pretty good job, to be honest. I'm a bit gutted I've got wing damage in such a way, which I mean, I can only blame myself for that. I did a mistake, and well, I clipped the wall very, very softly, but it was sufficient enough to get damage. So, well, yeah. To be honest, the last laps were very, very stressful, with the whole train behind me and me defending. But I think the wing damage helped me to get a bit more straight slide speeds than the others. So that's basically what carried me that podium.
I mean, it was your driving as well, because of course, more straight line speed means less downforce in the corners. So you did a very good job in that regard. I mean, don't be selling yourself short. And yeah, I mean, not much more for me to add. To be honest, you sort of said it all there. You're the reserve, of course, so don't know whether you'll be on here next week. But if you are, your thoughts on Brazil, which is where we're off to next.
I love Brazil, to be honest. It's one of my all-time favorite tracks to drive on. But to be honest, I don't think I will reserve in Tier 2. I will try to reserve in Tier 1 to have a bit more like of a challenge and to like equalize the pace in Tier 2, because the gaps were very, very big today. And I don't think Tier 2 drivers deserve that, to be honest. Full reserve podium is obviously, from my side, I'm very happy with my race, but yeah, it's not fair play at all. And my inner sportsman tells me to go to Tier 1 to try out.
Well, there we go. Not the first complaint we've had about the way the reserves are done, but again, that's a matter for the FIA. But we'll see what happens in future then, and hopefully we have you back, because you made the race very interesting for us here in Miami.
Thank you.
And we'd love to see you in Brazil and showing us what you can do, because I've seen you in the wet, now I want to see you in the dry conditions.
Yeah. All right.
But
anyway,
thank you very much, my friend, and we'll speak to you another time.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, let's get Gurla in next then, I would say. And I'll let you take this one, Punk, because I've just got something in my things I need to sort.
Okay. Hello, Gurla.
Hello.
So, it was, like Lars said, tough day in the office, but still, that so-called tough day in the office is pretty decent result when you ask me. But how do you feel about the results from the Miami? You feel like it's okay? Is it bad? Is it good? What do you feel about the overall result?
I think it's definitely okay. It could be better, but I'm like first of the full seat drivers, so basically no one gained points towards me in the championship, so that's always nice, I guess. But especially after my bad start, which I was down to P11, I think, or P10, considering that, it was a super good race. But yeah, I could have gotten on the podium still, but yeah.
Yeah, were you even for a second considering slicks at the end of the race? Because I saw a couple of guys hesitating and then a couple of guys actually going for it. They didn't make much use of them, but were you even for a second considering those slicks at the end of the race?
No, I didn't even consider it, to be honest, because at the moment I was like P5 or 6, and there's 2 laps remaining, so I thought well, I'm just not gonna waste this result right now with trying to pit. So
did you know about the fact it's gonna be a bit drier to the end of the race before the race started, or was just like that one came out of the blue? Because I don't know the weather situation before the race. So what was it like for you? Did you know it's gonna be a bit drier to the end, or was it a surprise for you?
no, we knew it was gonna dry out because it was like 2 squares of dry weather at the end.
Yeah,
because I knew it.
I'm trying to think what was the plan for you guys, because you knew that quali is going to be wet and the race for most part is going to be wet. Were you considering mostly wet tactic, like, setup wise and race strategy, or were you considering 50-50? What was the main goal of the strategy for today?
To be honest, I think I should have gone for I don't know, actually. Thinking about it, maybe I should have gone for more wing because I went with a totally dry setup. Maybe I could have gone for more wing, but I felt like I was not that fast on the straights even with this setup, so maybe that would have made it even worse. But on the corners, maybe I would have gained, I don't know. But yeah, maybe a little bit more wing is what I should have done, but I didn't.
Okay, and next time we're gonna go racing in Brazil. I know 99% of the drivers in the league and not only here love Sao Paulo track. And what are your feelings about the Brazilian track?
I wouldn't say I love it, but it's okay, I guess.
It's hard to find a hater for this one. So yeah. So thank you for your time here, Gurla, and hopefully we'll see you on the track and in the booth as well next week as we will go racing in Sao Paulo. So thank you for tonight and see you next time.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. And we also have our gamer waiting for us in an interview section. So let's get the final man right in here. Hello, gamer.
Hello.
You're probably gonna be, I wouldn't say robbed, but one of the most deserved driver of the day that's not gonna get a driver of the day because we kind of decided on the mat, despite the fact you went from P20 all the way to P6. So yeah, still great drive though. So how do you feel about the race overall from your perspective? Are you satisfied? Are you like, could have been better?
Well, quali, I kind of lost my talent. I have no idea. I spun on the curb on the right side, like inside before the finish line. How do you spin there? I have no idea. This is the first time I do the laps in Miami, so maybe that's why. But the race, I was in VC with Trolley Voice during the Inter's stint, and I asked him for like lap times, and I was like 5/10 slower per lap. But I was also like losing time to Magnussen. But I don't know, I figured out the track. I went very hard into sector 1, like the SS there, and I was pushing the whole time. My rears were overheating, like they were like 93 degrees on the tires, and I was just sliding everywhere. I was pushing to hell and back, trying to catch Magnussen. I think it was for P8, and suddenly they all pit. I think with like 4 laps left. I think even if the softs were faster, as like F123, they would not be able to catch that time they lost pitting, but it's gone like a very opposite side because they were slower. They were barely driving the car straight with a soft tire. Even if I can see the track dry, I have no idea. Maybe it's not actually dry in the game, or something is different with the tires. But they could not keep the car straight with the soft tires toward the last few laps. And I was able to gain like 5 seconds on Crowley Voice and Dizzy pretty easily, to be honest. And yeah, I was very surprised with the tire performance there at the end. But it was like a fun race all around. Like I didn't have the pace. I think my pace was like P8, but I got P6 by strategy mistakes by Desi and Crowley Voice.
So that was the Miami Grand Prix for you, and next week we're going to be heading to Sao Paulo, Brazil. Again, most drivers love this track, and what is your opinion on it?
I like Brazil, you know. I used to fight with tier 1 guys in Brazil, so it's maybe a good track for me. I will try for a podium maybe. I don't know. I can't really practice for this game, so I just come in fresh every race, and I just try to practice in the qualifying session. So we'll see if I can pick up the pace faster to like have put up a fight with Pedivara, Crystals, and Gerla, who are always at the top. But if I do mistakes in qualifying again and start very far back, I think I can't really be like disappointed with not getting podiums, or at least fighting for like P5, P4, you know, something at the like head of the pack. I just do mistakes in qualifying, not even by like I do some laps, you know, practice laps. The first few laps I do with like high fuel to just get used to the track. But then my last 2 laps are supposed to be qualifying laps. It's supposed to be like push, push, push. And I do a push lap, and I see I'm like a second off P1. I said like, oh my god, this is like so disappointing. Like pushing to the limit and expecting to be fighting at the top, because you know I used to be fighting at the top last game and the game before that and the game before that also. So I'm not really used to putting in all the effort and like stressing through the lap to get not a good lap time. So it's a bit disheartening. But honestly, the fighting and the battles I'm having at the back are really fun. Sometimes it's maybe a bit over the limit, and you know, they're not as the same as the guys fighting for podiums, where it's like very you know, and the back is do or die fighting. You know, they fight for every position, for every like even lap 5 of the race, they fight for everything. At the top, it's all like strategic planning, and it's like fighting for the last few laps of the race. So it's a bit different style, and I'm still getting used to it. I'm still not able to progress as much when fighting against the guys in the back. It's very hard to, because they use ERS like the whole straight, and I can't really use the same. You know, if I use the same, I'm just stuck in DRS trains. So I just have to get a strategy to, you know, get good qualifying, or even if I'm P10, P11, I can manage the race and try to overtake faster than I'm doing at the moment, and you know, maybe get podium.
Okay, so thank you for your speech, your monologue, our gamer here with us. We always love to hear from you and see you on the track.
Okay, monologue.
So,
okay.
Thank you. I mean, you are a man of your word, and I love that. So, thank you for your time here spent with us in the booth. Thank you for the drive, and hopefully we'll see you and hear from you again next week in Brazil. So, thank you for your time here with us.
No worries. Happy to be here.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. And yeah, we're going to be wrapping up the Brazilian Grand Prix. Yep, that is everybody. And I'm also tired, so we're going to be wrapping it up, as this is basically all we have in stocks for you guys today. Get ready to tune in this Friday for Tier 1 Championship fight, also here in Miami. And then next week, come along with us to Brazil, Sao Paulo, My name was CM Punk. I was the commentary guy for today, and now my co-commentator Lars will take it over from here.
Oh, right, okay, I wasn't prepared for that, but anyway, yes. Yeah, that's pretty much all that needs to be said. So, as we have already said, next week we will be in Brazil. A fan favourite and a driver favourite. Should be a very interesting race. Same time next week, 6:30, assuming I'm able to make it back on time, because I very nearly didn't today. Apologies for that on the late start. But thank you all very much for joining us. It's been another exciting race. Thoroughly enjoying this season so far, and we hope you will continue to enjoy it with us. Until then, I'm Lars the Red Hot Lovers, and my friend has been CM Punk.
Yes, exactly. Bye
And
bye,
we will see
everybody, and
you-
have a good night.
Yep, we will see you all next week. Until then, have a very enjoyable evening. Take care.